Hello to you all. Hello, how are you all doing? And how is everybody? Here we are. Can you see me live? Again, hello to you all. Hello. Welcome to another fun inspirational live stream for Tuesday of the 10th of September of 2024. And Tuesday, 10th September 2024, on a diabolical day. Well, I'm not feeling diabolical, but the weather has been a diabolical, appalling, with nothing but rain and wind in the Brighton and Hove region, and it was, oh my goodness, frozen cold earlier today. Not worthwhile weather. But we've got quite a few of you, over 10 of you. My goodness, wow. Goodness gracious me. Well over 10 in just over 1 minute, in less than a minute and a half. Right, who have we got in here? Lucinda Belcher. Hello to you, my lovely Lucinda Belcher. If you're related to Tina Belcher, much love to Tina. Maureen, oh, my wonderful, lovely lady Maureen. Hello to you. The lovely Maureen, who has a mother, who really, much to my surprise, by and large, has a motherly side towards me, as does my lovely Heather, too. So always lovely having you on here, Maureen. And thank you. I always appreciate your company. Thank you for your kindly, thanking gratitude and strong grip of appreciation as usual. Thank you, my lovely Maureen. Thank you. And Maureen Howard, Maureen and Paul Howard in Bexhill. Hello to you both, my lovely lady Maureen. And the master Paul Howard himself. Hello to you both. Hello, indeed to you both. Hello. And hello to Heidi. Hello to lovely Heidi, my lovely lady Heidi, who had her birthday last week, but we don't need to say it anymore because she celebrated it. And lovely Imogen. She needs no introduction. Hello to the lovely lady Imogen herself. Imogen in Canada, but originally a Brightonian resident. Oh, Maureen. Oh, my lovely Maureen. Don't you know just how lovely you truly are? Thank you for your kindly endearment towards Maureen Howard. Thank you. But one thing I did want to say, sorry about the naughtiness when I was earlier on when saying that the weather was bloody diabolical. Well, rain, wind, what could you expect and how could one expect to describe it? Diabolical. I think that's the best way to describe appalling weather conditions and all that and so forth. Certainly, in my opinion. And good evening to you, Loco. You certainly need no introduction. Oh, Daphne, hello. Hello, beautiful. Hello. Daphne wants to do her own thing now. The intro, Loco. Sapper had nothing against it, but he came to realize that the organ theme just wasn't right for the channel. I think it was right, personally speaking. I thought it was right for the channel, but I don't think I'm going to use it all the time. But once I've got a new and better intro or complete one, either done myself or with the help of Sapper, I will use it in future lives. But please, I had nothing against it, but just Sapper believes it was a little bit too loud with the music in the intro and all that and so forth. But there we are. But never mind. These things happen. Yes, Sapper knows best. He's extremely good with handing out advice and all the rest of things. Loco, he's fantastic. His innate advice he's provided to me has just been nothing more than extraordinary and extremely valuable in every way. That much more could certainly be said to tell oneself on things. Oh, Maureen, this is why we love you. This is why we all love you so very dearly. And for any friends of yours who doesn't show love to you or say that they don't love you, they're making a painfully terrible mistake. I would certainly point this out quite explicitly. Not much more could certainly be said. Paul is watching the football. It's torrential rain. I'm not surprised. I'm certainly not surprised Torrential rain is diabolical weather. It's appallingly diabolical weather conditions, especially at the Wembley Football Stadium. I've been past Wembley Football Stadium several times on the train, Maureen, on the way to Cheddington. That is, I haven't been to Cheddington for about 3 years now. It was before I met David when I went to Cheddington. And then that was when I drank too much at the pub. Well, I didn't drink too much. I wasn't drunk, but I drank at the pub not too long afterwards. Tom Gardner's in. Good evening to you, Tom. Good evening, good friend. Hello to you. Oh, Dawn Marie. Oh, is this our lady who we all love so much, who everybody loves and adores? And for those of you who doesn't love Dawn Marie, are making a terribly painful mistake. Hello to you, Dawn Marie, on what is a day with diabolical weather out there, rain, wind. Probably not just in Brighton and Hove, but probably in several other parts of the length and breadth of the United Kingdom in its showcased entirety. Oh, lots of hugs to you, lovely Dawn Marie. Oh, as you said, the more there is of somebody, the more there is of them to love and hug. Like you say with your very tall son. You say you just love all of him so much. You just love and hug all of him so much. Thank you, Imogen. Thank you for your kindly endearments towards Dawn Marie. Thank you. Thank you, Rocco, for your friendliness towards Tom, sorry. Well, he'll always be a Tommy to me, to Tom and Dawn Marie. Thank you. Thank you. There are 2 Maureen's here at the moment. Maureen Howard and Maureen Ingleston. Maureen Howard is Bexhill, East Sussex, and Maureen Ingleston is Scotland. Loco, to tell you on things. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your kind acknowledgement to everyone, to one another. Thank you. Thank you. And today there's quite some interesting news to share. Won't be interesting to everybody, but this is outside of event news I'm going to share. On this day, the 10th of September of 2024, marks the special birthday anniversary of an extraordinary man. This extraordinary man, I don't know if one could say he was extraordinary, but I think there is something I looked up in him that I personally found extraordinary, but most of you would consider it quite possibly by and large impressive, but obviously it's dependence of your opinion and so forth. But today, 10th September 2024, would have been the late Ken Medlock's birthday today. Ken Medlock, if you didn't know who he was, Ken Medlock appeared in an interesting documentary called 100-Year-Old Drivers. Not everybody's going to be celebrated with 100-year-old drivers. It was aired on ITV 10 years ago, 100-Year-Old Drivers. And he and his late wife Edna appeared on it 10 years ago. And today would be his 110th birthday if he was still alive, in regard to Ken Medlock himself. He's not with us now, sadly, but if he were alive today, he would be 110. He would have just had his 110th birthday if he was still alive. Telling off things. Gosh, we've got a few more in. Moogs! Hiya, Moogs. Hello. That's if Sapper was on here. You would be, hello, Grumps. And then you'd be, hiya, Moogs. Hiya, Moogs. Well, do say hello to our good lady, Moogie Moogs. Hello, Moogs. Thank you. Thank you, Imogen, for your friendliness towards our Moogs. Both she and Sapper have an affinity and great friendship towards one another, Moogs and Sapper. And thank you, Moogs, for your friendliness towards Imogen. Thank you. But to continue with the story of the news, yes, he was just shy of turning 100 when he appeared on 100-Year-Old Drivers, Ken Medlock. And his wife Edna was just short of turning 99 at this point. He did something rather impressive shortly before his 100th birthday, which I really think should have been his 100th birthday present. But I think he gifted it himself, an early 100th birthday present. And that early, what I personally believe, in my opinion, to be his early 100th birthday present, was he changed his car from a Ford Popular to a great big huge then at the time modern day BMW. He sold his own car, his old car, for a new modern day, at the time, 10 years ago, modern day BMW. I mean, for a nearly 100-year-old man to drive a fairly modern day BMW, I consider that to be quite impressive. I don't know what how you would so think of it, but obviously one's entitled to their own opinions. But me personally, I think for a man almost 100 years of age to change his car from an old car to a modern day BMW, I think that's incredibly impressive. Because a lot of elderly people, certainly at an age of 100, I'm not saying this to be discriminatory, I'm just saying this to share a point. A lot of people over the age of 100 would generally hold a very cynically opposed view to BMWs or any cars of modern day make and all the rest of it. But yes, can you imagine that? Well, imagine that. And he even showed him driving. It was only Ken who did the driving, but Edna had stopped some years before they both died. She'd stopped. But he carried on driving even at the time of his 100th birthday, Ken Medlock. But the most wonderful thing I'd seen in 100-year-old drivers with Ken and Edna Medlock was, even at 100 years of age, Ken showed his deep, unconditional love to his wife by saying, "I love you, dear. I love you, dear." You wouldn't think they're 100. Sharp as buttons. And I think they had the mental arithmetic of people in their 60s or 70s. And he was so sharp. When he was talking, you just wouldn't think he was over the age of 100. You'd think he certainly, not only did he looked elderly, he didn't look his age, but he looked in his 80s, I would have thought. He was wrinkled, as was his wife too. They didn't look their age at the time, but one could tell you would think they were at least in their 90s at least. They were wrinkled, that sort of thing, So they were showing signs of aging. But they did well to consider for it, And but the way they were talking, they didn't sound old. They did not sound their age. They could have sounded like people maybe in their 50s when talking and all that. And all the rest of it. But it's an impressive story for a man and his wife, nearly 99, and a man nearly 100, to sell an old car for a modern day BMW and to still represent and show the deep, unconditional love they had for each other, Ken particularly. And they did appear again in 100-year-old drivers 2 years later in 2016. But there was a sad story about a year before their second appearance in 100-year-old drivers. Shortly before Ken's wife Edna's 100th birthday, she very sadly go into a care home for health reasons. Well, I don't know what it was, but she wasn't well. Ah, it's me, mother. Just a brief appearance from her, as it so looked.
Your father's on his way over.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
That's good. Get the hob done. Shall I go downstairs now? Yeah. I'm going to move to a different location. So wait a moment. Open drink. Oh, yeah, I got it. Oh, thanks, Mugs. Thank you. Thank you, Mugs. Yeah, time to move to a new location of go. Very, very extremely well said and a very, very good point. No, we aren't. Now we're settled. But a year before 2016, as to continue the story, Ken's wife Edna had to go into a care home, citing her being unwell and not in good health, and had to go for, as was announced at the time, health reasons. But because at the time, it looked like she was close to death in 2015. And Ken was on his own. But when Ken was on his own, he was deeply lonely. And he actually didn't drive for a while after his wife went into a care home. But then comes the impressive story. 1 year on, things changed. And what changed was Edna impressively got better. And then she moved back home with Ken. And then they both appeared. And once she was better and got better, but it aged her, I'm afraid, they both appeared in 100-year-old drivers. For the second time in 2016, and they were at the time 100 or 101, and about 101 going on 102 at the time, and that was them when they made the appearance together. But then, sometime after 2016, sad times came to play for the Medlocks, because they had 3 children. That was a good thing, 3 sons. But the sad time that came for the Medlocks was Edna, after nearly 79 years of marriage, sadly passed away in April 2018 at the age of 102, nearly 103, and the loss. And following Edna's death, this devastated Ken greatly, as you could imagine, as anybody could imagine. Ken was completely devastated to the point where I think it broke him. Once Edna died. That was it. It broke him. And after Edna died, Ken went into a care home. He went in. Once his wife died, that was it. He went into a care home. And he only lasted just 2 years after Edna died, and he died 2 years later at the age of 105, nearly 106. So Ken had a good innings, as did Edna too, 102, nearly 103, and 105, nearly 106, respectively. But Ken was quite happy. Ken was happier when he went to the care home, because at the time of what was his final 105th birthday, in September 2019, he said that what he liked most about the care home was, he said, he loved being around all the caring people, because all the caring staff, he described them as caring staff at the care home. He said they made him feel right at home. And so he had, though initially broken and in deep mourning, as you could expect for a man over the age of 100 to just lose his spousal companion, it was he eventually found his last few years of happiness. It was sad, obviously, that it was just 2 years later that he went after his wife, but he had a good final few years at the care home, but obviously the loss of Edna had a great effect on him. Thank you for your support regarding the story. It's not a story everybody would be interested in, but I thought I'd share it all the same. I know, yes, God bless to them, Moogs, yes. 100, I know, he lived to be almost 106, Ken Medlock, and his wife lived to be almost 103. Thank you for your friendliness towards my mother. Thank you. Thank you. Health has really aged you and you're not even fit. Oh dear, I'm so sorry, Maureen. It frightens me at how old I've become. At the age of 63, health issues have aged me. Oh dear, I remember you saying that your health took a battering after 2 cancer battles. I'm extremely sorry about that. Maureen, so sorry to hear that. No, one's health, especially if you've survived cancer twice, it can really take a tolling battering on one's health, and I'm not surprised, but I really empathize greatly with you, Maureen. Hello to Diane. Hello to Diane. Hello to you. Thank you, Moogs, for your friendliness towards Diane. Thank you. And thank you for your support regarding the story. If you excuse me a moment, I'll just do what I can. Okay. Right. Right. Okay. Your husband's stroke aged him 10 years. I'm so sorry. Oh dear, I'm so sorry. 78 and not got a healthy body. It's frustrating. Oh, I'm so sorry, Maureen. I'm so extremely sorry hearing about your health taking its toll and the battering. Extremely sorry about this. Kate Middleton realised that she has finished her chemotherapy, that it was, Bill. Chemotherapy. Your gran is 89 and can run circles around you. Oh, impressive. Wow. Very, very impressive. I thought I'd show something interesting to all of you. Just got to get it up. Just got to really get it up. Get it up. Gotta get it up. Gosh, whatever the hell on earth happened to it? Oh my goodness. Ah, found it. Found it. And then I'm going to be able to show it. Right, present. Share screen. No. Right. Okay. Right. If you want to show that was the late Ken and Edna Medlock to share things. They would have been in their latter 90s there. I don't know when this would have been taken, but my guess this would have been about 2012, something like that. So that would have been quite a while before their 75th wedding anniversary, and quite a while before they both sadly died, unfortunately. But there we are. There we are. But this was them. That was the late Ken and Edna Medlock. And if he were alive today, Ken here, who's on the left, he'd be 110 if he was still alive today. Today would have been his 110th birthday, you know. And that was Edna, you know. Shank, yes, I completely agree. An adorable couple, despite being of old age, you know. Hello to Troy. Oh, welcome. Welcome, Troy. I think this is about the first time I've had you on here, but welcome. Welcome on here, Troy. Very big welcome on here. But we haven't got any mods on here as of yet. But don't worry. If anybody says anything that upsets me or that's not very nice towards myself or an attack on myself or my family, I'll be blocking them ASAP. That's what I do, because I won't have that here. I think so. He seems to be okay, but if he ended up saying things that was not very nice, then I'd block the guy. But he's okay at the moment. He's okay. But if he ever said anything that, you know, that affected myself or my family, or it was a direct attack towards myself and my family, I'd get rid of them in that circumstance. You know, even Harriet would do that too. Thanks, Moogs. Thank you, Moogs. I agree. I completely agree with you on that. I completely agree. Oh, and Martin's in. Hello to Martin. Hello. Martin's in here. Hello. But we're getting to that, Diane. My friend Jonathan, he had the same, more or less the same sort of thing. When he had the stroke, it aged him and affected his health. Fortunately, it didn't affect his mobility. It luckily did not affect his mobility, but it affected his health and aged him, just like your husband, I'm afraid. And he's only 62, Jonathan, but he's better now than he was. He's better now than he was last year. But yeah, but it's what happens to some people. You have the most amazing kind brown eyes. I'm back on now. Mooks, the festivals have not stopped. They're not so much festivals, they're events I attend. They're not festivals, completely different festivals. Something happened to the internet. I don't know what it is, but what is happening, however, is upstairs in the kitchen there is a new cookery hob is being placed in the kitchen. So that's why I had to move from the kitchen, because we're having a new cookery hob being put on, because the old one, it sadly broke. So that's what's happening upstairs, but I don't know what on earth happened with the internet. The signal's back now, Moobs. Signal's back now. It's back now. Hello to Shell. Sorry about what happened, but the internet went down, I'm afraid. Your neighbour had a recent heart attack, aged 63, and his old day had to walk up 96 steps to give him CPR until the paramedics arrived. Unfortunately, oh no. It was so, I could have, no, that is very tragic. That's extremely tragic. It's extremely tragic. Thank you. Thank you, me. Thank you. Something happened with the internet. Hello to Nigel. Hello. Maureen, I'm here now. It's just something happened to the internet, but I'm here now. Hello to Nigel. Nigel, wait a moment. Nigel, your son came on a moment ago, and he's wonderful. It was wonderful having him on again recently. He came on a moment ago. Thank you, Domarie. Thank you. That's quite possible, yes. That's possible. There's a new cookery hob being fitted upstairs in the kitchen above the oven. So we've only been able to use the oven to cook our meals at the moment. But other than that, we've got but once the new cookery hob's been fitted and tested out, once that's tested out and it's working, we've got a cookery hob to cook on again, fortunately. But we've got no mods at the moment, but hopefully we will have mods on again soon, but obviously no under 18 mods, but there we are. Pre-ordered Train Sim World 5. Well, when we come to gameplay live stream series for October, Rexy, how about... Oh, yes, Maureen's a mod. Yes, sorry about that, Noko, sorry. But, Rexy, how about on the first live stream gameplay series when it starts in October? I don't know when in October yet, but I'm still thinking about October greatly. How about our first episode be of you representing Train Sim World 5? If you're up to it, that is. If you're up for it. But earlier on, that was the story I had to share, because today would have been the late Ken Medlock's 110th birthday today. And so there we are. That was one of the notable news earlier on. Next set of news, more, and it comes in reference to what Moogs was asking me. They're not festivals I attend. They're events I attend, not so much festival. Good question. He's not with us now, Rexy. He died at the age of 105, nearly 106. He's not with us now. But he Right, I'm back. The internet was being diabolical, but here I am. I never could have thought that I never could have thought that the new cookery hob being fitted upstairs in the kitchen would cause problems for the internet. Oh, freeze gate. Oh, I have to go. Ta-ta for now, morning. I'm so sorry about what's happened to the internet. I don't think we could have suspected there would be internet connectivity issues with the new cookery hob being fitted in the kitchen. I don't think we could have suspected that. Freeze gate. Yes, it's a fantastic innings, 105. It's a fantastic innings, I must say. Nothing but a black screen, but no Foxy. Can you see me now, Irene? Sorry about the internet, but I'm here now. I'm here now. Hello to Nutmeg. Hello to Nutmeg. Hello to you indeed. Wouldn't say hello without giving you a big hug, Nutmeg. Wouldn't say hello without giving you a great big hug always. Thank you, Boogs. Thank you for your friendliness towards Nutmeg. Thank you. Thank you. I'm back now. My audio has an echo. Bloody hell. Oh, gosh. Thank you, Nutmeg. Always big hugs to you. Always. I would never want to say hello without giving you a hug. Or I really wouldn't. No, so sorry about the diabolical internet connectivity cuts. I don't think the weather's got anything to do with it, Dawn Marie. I think it's, as Martin suspected, I think it's something to do with the new cookery hob being fitted on upstairs in the kitchen, which is why I had to leave the kitchen, because of the cookery hob being fitted. And if there was cookery hob being fitted and me representing a live stream, it could prove this a huge distraction. It could really prove a huge distraction. Lovely seeing you too, Irene. Audio is fine. You sound good. Thank you, Irene, Moogs, and Martin. I'll let you off, Martin. I'll let you off. What did Martin say? Hello to Blacksmith. Sorry I am late. Had one of those. Oh dear, what happened, Blacksmith? Whatever happened? Whatever happened? Whatever happened? But I need to share some news now. Some very quick news before getting to the other news. This live stream is only going to be on for 80 to 90 odd minutes. 95 minutes is the most I'm going to do with this live stream, not the full-blown 2 hours. 90 to 95 minutes is 1 hour 30 to 1 hour 35 minutes. And that's as long as we're going to be going today. And the same will apply for the next live stream, which will be the Saturday Live special, to tell everybody all things. But now I'm getting to the news. On the 7th and 8th of September of 2024, I attended the Norton Autumn Rally 2024 event. This comes in reference to Moogs' questioning regarding what am I going to do regarding once the events are over, come the winter time. If I could get it up now, the question what Moogs asked me, I will. Any question? I just need to see what it was that Moogs asked me. I found it. But yes, in reference to what Moogs was asking me, what am I going to do over the winter month? Apart from giving my legs a rest, obviously continue with live streaming content. I'll continue with live streaming content throughout the winter, obviously, whilst events are postponed and not going ahead annual, because they're annual events I attend. They don't just happen monthly. The annual events I attend, they happen once a year, and not every month. There are events I've attended every month, several times every month, yes, but they're different annual events to showcase the point. But But I did the Norton Autumn Rally on both days, but the weather wasn't brilliant. The weather was well and truly not at all brilliant over the weekend, and it's really been a bad start to weather at the start of this week. And certainly not to mention cold. It was cold in Norton. And if any of my friends would have came with me and said, but it's lovely and warm. What, 10, 15 odd degrees, that's lovely and warm. That's nothing but cold. That's nothing but cold. 10, 15 degree weather, that's far too cold. Well, you see the difference between you and I. You are, I won't go into depth on that, but that was Michelle's concluded assumption as to why I feel the cold more because of my weight. I don't think my weight has anything to do with it. Or my size. I don't think it has anything to do with it. Well, there we are. But I did the Norton Autumn Rally, 7th, 8th September. The weather, not very good, but fantastic turnout at the event. Good things to be seen at the arena. You know, the little arena where they show the vintage transport, classic cars, vintage motorbikes, vintage vehicles, etc. They show it in a little arena in Norton. I've been attending Norton on and off for 2 years now, since 2022. Nearly a year after I first met David. And they also show classic cars on display, as well as classic motorbikes on display. And they also show about 2 or 3 vintage fairground organs at the Norton Autumn Rally itself. And I saw about 2 organs on the 8th of September, but I only saw about 1 on the 7th. But other than that, despite the diabolically appalling weather conditions, fantastic turnout at the Norton Autumn Rally itself. And I'm to be next event attending on the 22nd of September. The 22nd of September is my next event attending, and then 28th, 29th as forecast for the rest of the September month. And then it's got the October, 6th, 12th, 13th, the 20th of October. And then in November, my last, in reference to Moogs, once the events are over, my final 2024 events before the 2025 proceedings, they're going to be on the 3rd of November, and then an event of the same event taking place both days, 16th and 17th. And that's the forecast for the remainder of the event attending season for 2024 for me personally. But possibly come 2025, 2026, I'm thinking about event attending across the country and so forth. And I think there's an interesting event that takes place at the Brooklyn's Museum in Weybridge in Surrey in February. I need to find out what it is, but if it appeals to my interest, I may very well go there, you know. So that's the forecast for the rest of event attending season. But what am I going to do over the weekends where there are no events going ahead? I don't go out as much during the winter, in reference to what Moogs was asking me. I don't go out as much in the winter because of how cold it gets. And I don't like going out when it's too cold. I really don't. And especially as I feel the cold, sadly, as I aged, the older I got, the colder I felt, which is a side effect of getting older in age, unfortunately. But there we have things, as well as not retaining the form of fitness one had. I may do some weekends when sporadically, but I wouldn't do it every weekend. Sometimes visit the Seaford branch line on occasions, and but really by and large not go out a lot. But there we are. Yes, I do feel the cold, Martin. I do feel the cold a lot, sadly, unfortunately. Hello to Kaz. Hello to Kazzy. Hello to you. And hello to Gertrude. Hello to our lovely Gertrude. Thank you, Nutmeg, for your friendliness towards Gertrude. Thank you. And thank you, Gertrude, for your kindly friendliness towards Nutmeg and Kaz, our Kazzy. Thank you. I'm quite well, thank you, Gertrude. I hope you are well too. Thank you, Imogen, for your friendliness towards Nutmeg and Gertrude. Thank you. Yes, there is diabolical weather in the UK, and it's raining, rain and wind today, and cold. Nothing but cold. And Stevie, hello to Stevie. Please don't worry about lateness. There was some diabolical internet connectivity cuts, which messed a few things up, but not too badly. Meant to be camping next week. You don't feel the cold. Impressive with you. You're like Michelle. You're like Michelle, who seldom feels the cold. As she did tell me, she's hot stuff. But there we are. It's cold. I know, Kaz. It's nothing but cold. I know. I am miserable. I'm not surprised. Cold weather is not a time for happiness, isn't it? Christmas soon. That's going to be the hectic part. Christmas. You feel the cold, same as me. I feel the cold. I mean, even at 11 stone of weight, I still feel the cold a lot, sadly. But there we are. Dislike the combination of rain, wind, cold, or freezing? Yes, I'm exactly the same. I'm exactly the same. Ordering your turkey next. Oh no, not the C word. Christmas is the C word. Feel the cold during day, but I have night sweats because of hormone treatments I have due to ongoing cancer treatment. Oh gosh. I do not like it cold. I really don't. I do not like it cold, especially as I feel the cold repeatedly all the time a lot. I do not like the I mean, even at 154 pounds or 11 stone of weight, Nutmeg, I still really feel the cold a lot, like I did when I weighed 130 pounds, which, if you want to know what that is in UK, that's 9 stone 4, but I'm more than that now, because 154 is 11 stone, which is what I am now. But even at 154 pounds of weight, I still really feel the cold a lot, sadly. I always wear a lot of layers every winter. I always do that. You know, don't worry, Loco. Your GCSE revision is deeply important. It's very, very important. But just don't overdo your revision time, Loco. Just don't overdo anything. That's what I'd say. Don't overdo anything. Had a dent removed. Oh gosh. You have heat intolerance, so don't like the hot weather. You can't go out really in weather over 80 degrees Fahrenheit. I could. I could go out in it, but you really couldn't. Gosh, wow. You can't even wear a coat any time of year. Really, Boogs? Gosh, that is surprising. That is really quite... I wear a coat nearly all year round, but I don't wear the same coat all year round. I even wear the coat even in the summer, but wait a moment. That's only just short of 27 degree heat, 80 degrees Fahrenheit, but in 27-degree weather, I don't always wear a jumper in that weather, but I can wear a lightweight beige jacket, unzipped with a long-sleeve shirt and trousers. I don't know how Nutmeg would take to somebody wearing a shirt with a jacket unzipped and trousers, but that's what I would wear in that sort of weather. I certainly would, because I feel the cold a lot. Sadly, or sometimes if it was too breezy, I would zip up the coat if it was a bit too breezy. But there we are. This is what happens with age with some people. Oh, yeah. But yes. Oh dear, fire in the mountains, awful. I don't know how Nutmeg or Moogs, by and large, would take to a man feeling the cold, or certainly even feeling nippy in 26, 27, or 80 degree Fahrenheit weather. But in that weather, I'd have a jacket on. and a shirt, or sometimes zip up the jacket if I was really feeling quite nippy and not myself for health. But there we are, I'm afraid. And trousers to go with it, too. But we're going to invite guests on early, but we're only going to have about 30-odd minutes of guest time, I'm afraid, because we're going to finish up at about 1 hour 30, 1 hour 35 minutes and so forth. But there we are. Quite a point you shared, Kaz. Right, it's guest time. It's early guest time now. Early guest time now. So, whoever wants to be a guest, only those of you I'm remotely familiar of, you may join. But if you are under 16, it doesn't matter with logo so much because you'll be that age next month. But if you are under 16, and certainly if I am not remotely familiar of you, you cannot go on. And under no circumstances in the inspirational live streams here, no showing computer games or nudity or anything that's crude or anything that's vulgar or exceptionally high in crudity. Those things will not be allowed to be represented if you are a guest. Those are the strict rules here. Only on the future gameplay live stream that there'll be computer games, but no computer games or nudity or vulgarity or anything that's representing anything crude, high in crudity. It will not be allowed on here. And I mean this bluntly. I mean this very, very bluntly when saying it. And I mean that very, very much so. Would love to come on, but need to do your hair. As long as you're okay, but if you cause problems, you'll be off. And I mean that. But as long as you're okay with it, yeah. Thank you, Gertrude, for your friendliness towards Martin. Thank you. Thank you. Structures have burned. Not entire neighborhoods, though. It's kind of semi-rural. A lot of domestic farm animals out. I can imagine. But gosh, burning fires, awful. When there are great fires out there, that is just, by and large, extremely awful. And dangerous, too. Only Fools and Horses. Oh, Only Fools and Horses is hilariously funny. Only Fools and Horses, Keeping Up Appearances, Are You Being Served, Blackadder, several wonderful Faulty Towers. I mean, those are just, nothing can beat those British sitcoms. Completely, absolutely nothing could beat those sitcoms. They are just hilariously funny and certainly well worth the watch, I've certainly got to say, especially as Imogen loves them and Martin, not to mention. I think pretty much all of you would very much like them. I very much like them too, personally speaking of things, particularly Basil Fawlty, oh, because I'm so stupid, I do a lot of stupidity. Oh, that. I liked porridge. I eat porridge for breakfast every morning. Or sometimes I have fruit salad in the morning for breakfast too. But sometimes I have a toast or a bagel, or sometimes an occasional bacon bagel in the morning. But I mostly stick to a porridge or fruit breakfast. Because like I've said before to all of you, I think all of you are remotely familiar of this, I mostly stick to a fruit, vegetable, and fish diet, and fish and chicken diet. I do eat meat, but I seldom eat a lot of meat. I can really only eat meat about, really, once or twice a week or twice a fortnight, so forth. Right, we got a guest in the green. Oh, he's gone now. Wait till he comes back. But we had a guest in the green room earlier on. I watched all those on public. I'm not. Did you get a hoot out of it, Gertrude? That's what we want. That's what we want to know. Whether or not you got an absolute hoot of laughter out. Yes, that's so fun. Oh, yeah, do that. I like porridge and tripe. Porridge, worth porridge. Oh, porridge the bottom. I'm so sorry about this, Stevie. So sorry for my naughty misunderstanding. That was stupid of me. Careful of that. Careful of that. I too love those shows as well, Gertrude. I well and truly love them. I don't know what happened, Martin. I saw you in the green room earlier on, but I'll put the link up again. Is your computer okay now? Because my internet's okay now, but it had some diabolical connectivity cuts for a few short moments. Links up again, Martin. There. But obviously, I'm going to have to debrief everything to Harriet and Sapper because they're going to want to know how the live stream went and so forth. Right. Our guest for this live tonight, he's a good friend. He said some very nice things about me. That really, beyond words, valuable, what he had to say. And he's always, to Sapper, he's his old dog. And but to us, he's a friend who we all couldn't be more fortunate to have in our lifetime. Please give a resoundingly large hello to Martin. Good evening, Martin.
Hi, Foxy. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Are you well?
I'm well, yeah. I'm well, yeah. It's good to yeah, it's good to be here again. It's good as ever to be in your in your words can't express it.
Well, the confines of the content, I think that's about as far as one can go.
So how are you doing?
Very well. Oh, absolutely boring. Are you pulling our legs? Martin is welcome on here. And Kaz just said that you're lovely.
Okay. I appreciate that you can't stand for long tonight, and I can't stand for long tonight myself. So, but it's good to talk to you in you know in these yeah
In these what?
in these happy times.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, Kaz admires your appreciation towards me.
Thank you, Kaz.
Well, she's a mother herself, Kaz is, so she could understand it well. But gosh, you've grown out quite the beard now, haven't you?
Kaz or me? You mean? Yeah,
Yes, you.
yeah,
Actually,
yeah. It's fair to say I let myself go a little bit, so it's all right there.
I always shave mine off because I can't stand having a beard.
But you always look very like prim and proper and very ship shape and Bristol fashion. Like when I was like you've almost got like a military sort of bearing about yourself.
Oh, thank you. Don't think I've got anything military about me, but thank you. Thank you. Dawn Marie is saying it's lovely seeing you again, and Imogen too.
Same to Imogen and Dawn Marie. Yes. Yeah, it's lovely. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not quite sure if I can offer anything tonight, Foxy. I'm just happy to be here, really.
Yes, yes. But I'll try and show something interesting if I can. Just wait a moment. I'll show
Yeah.
something as interesting as I possibly can. Just bear in mind, just good. I'm just looking for it. Might take me. Oh, found it. Just got to get it loaded up, and then I'll show not just you but everybody. Right, present.
I'm guessing absolutely boring is a bit of a wag.
I'm guessing so, but that was me at the Norton Autumn Rally this year.
Oh wow.
That was me at a Rachel Lucy Street organ that was built. Much to my astonishment, this organ was built in only 1987.
And we were talking about these the other night, weren't we? Like the organs, and this is fantastic. Was it with Moog the other day? We were talking about organs and stuff.
No, it was
Um,
Tom who was on the
Tom, was it?
live.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, this
But
is, and that was built freshly in 1987. or was it
1987. It said
refurbished?
that's what it said on the organ. Built 1987,
And
and I'm like, it's
was it
got to
done
be older
through?
than that.
Was it from traditional sort of mechanisms and stuff? You know, like from the Victorian era and steam and things like that, or
That's my
was it?
hunch conclusion, but I didn't ask the owners, but it's my hunch conclusion that it was built from things from the Victorian era. But for
That looks
19,
fantastic, though, Foxy. Just the workmanship and the craftsmanship on that looks fantastic.
I completely agree. For a 1987 organ, this could easily come across as, I would have thought that was like 60 years older than that easily.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, that's a brilliant find. That's fantastic.
Thank
Were
you.
the there's light bulbs there? Were they traditional sort of GLS bulbs, as they call them, or was it that modern like LED stuff that was
I really
turning
don't
on?
know. I forgot to ask the owners, so I wouldn't know. But if I see it
Yeah,
again come next vintage rally, or if it's in Lawton in 2025, I'll ask the owners.
yeah. But that's a fantastic. That's a lovely photograph as well, Foxy.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, but that's a 2024 Lawton Autumn Rally portrait.
That's brilliant. That's I mean, things like that. Just the fact that things like that and the enthusiasm for those things is still going just warms my heart. It's really, I think it's lovely.
Yes, take into account a hell of a lot of technological advancements and
Yeah,
all the rise of these YouTubing gamers and such, and they get a hell of a lot of popularity for just sitting at home playing computer games nearly 24/7. To see
where
something like that is really a privilege in this day
something
and
like that
age.
was, which was like 100 years plus ago, where it's before the age of digital,
Internet and
you know,
such, yes.
programming. Is purely to do with like valves or like wiring or just
Yes.
even like like timing into like a reel or something like that to and yeah, it's brilliant.
I completely agree. I completely agree with you totally, Martin. Seeing things from years ago, hundreds of years ago, and to see the appreciation and how received they can be by, if not hundreds, but thousands in the swathes of those
Yes,
groups, it's just something well and truly refreshingly heartfelt in this day and age. I would agree to
definitely,
one's point if they were to say that.
definitely, and
You,
it's old fashioned craftsmanship, isn't it? That
no, that's really valuable. That, Martin, without
Yeah,
questionable doubt, is highly valuable.
and these
Old-fashioned
things,
craftsmanship
they get handed down over generations, like from father to son,
and grandson,
and a lot of these
etc.
things that can be lost, over time.
But thank goodness
Yeah,
there are generations out there that pass it on generation to generation, which is the main thing.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Is
It's really
anything all
good.
right, Martin? You look terribly upset.
I look upset. No, I'm not upset. No, I'm not upset.
Yeah.
No,
But
I'm sorry. I'm sorry I came across like that. I'm
no,
probably a bit pissed.
bit pissed. Have you had a drink tonight?
I might have done, yeah. So I'm gonna
You don't come across as pissed drunk to me.
just
You come
upset.
across as alert.
Yeah. Okay. No,
But
I'm fine. I'm
but
fine.
you're
Thank you.
certainly feeling the cold today, I take it.
Well, I've got my jumper on, yeah. So it's yeah.
Yes.
But like you, I feel the you know, I feel the cold as well.
I
Uh,
never could have known that.
what is it that have you always felt the cold from like being a child and stuff like since like your early years? You've always
No,
felt the cold.
I think it's really as I got older. I think when I got about, I think up until around about 10 or so years ago, I began to feel the cold more. I think when I got older, it just
Okay.
increased from that point after.
So do you have like in this country? Do you have an ideal temperature that
What's
you
an
think
ideal
this is okay, or is it either too hot or too cold?
I'm quite happy. I'm always quite happy when there's say 28-degree weather. I mean, 30-degree weather and anything over, I have to be more careful. Because the thing with me, Martin, I have to be careful not to get too cold, and at the same time, I have to be careful not to get sunburnt because I'm fair in the skin.
Okay. Do you wear lotion if you went out into the sun? Do you wear like sun lotion?
Generally, yes. I generally block off, yes. Otherwise, I get burnt. But I mean,
Is it like a factor 50 block
I mean,
thing?
I have sunblocked many times and still do it, but it doesn't always work. That's the problem. It doesn't
Right.
always work, even if I do it. That's the
I can't
problem.
imagine you sunburned. Can't imagine you sunburned. Really.
No, I do get sunburnt. I'm fair-skinned.
Right.
Oh,
So
Graham's in.
when you're doing event attending and stuff like that, are you generally because that's generally like during the summer months and stuff. But would you go out wearing the like the sunblock and stuff like that?
Generally, yes. If it
Generally?
was very sunny, I would, yes. If it was
Would you
baking,
avoid the sun generally if you can? Like,
I don't always avoid. I normally try and get as much sun as I can, but I'm just careful it doesn't, not to the point where it would get me sunburnt. But Graham's
yeah.
in.
Like
But I
Graham.
generally, but what I never do is I never expose skin. I never expose skin, even in 30-degree weather. Otherwise, even if I block off my arms, it still gets very burnt because the sun cream doesn't always work. And that's the problem.
So if you went to visit Graham, that would be a bad thing for you, maybe.
Well, I'll just have to be careful. I'll just have to put a long sleeve shirt on and trousers, lightweight trousers, so that I don't overheat and so that I don't get too sunburnt. But I can walk around out in hot heat, but I just have to be careful not to get burnt. But I mean, you're normally up till about 26 odd degree weather. I'm often wearing my jacket or coat. Don't know if you could wear a coat in 25 or 20-degree weather, could you, Martin?
So when it gets to December and January, when it's really sort of the bleak midwinter, you must be having all sorts of layers going on with
I wear about 3 jumpers during that time, and about a vest and another layer to the shirt as well. So I wear several layers every winter. And from normally latter part of September till about early May, I'm always wearing a vest.
See, you're brilliant. You are brilliant.
I don't think it's just, but I don't think my size has anything to do with it. I think it's genetics probably and age, because a lot of my mother's side of the family sadly feels the cold a lot.
I actually, I think the Hutch was on the other night, wasn't he, doing the live?
He did the fitness live stream in the
And
gym. I didn't see that one.
he was talking about his tattoos and stuff and his arms.
Oh, his arms are huge.
And have you ever thought about having tattoos or anything like yourself? Right.
No, I wouldn't want anything pierced on me. No.
I'm the same. I'm the same.
I never
I've seen people that do that, but I just couldn't. I haven't got that sort of physique or anything myself. So, but I respect people that do it and do that. But yeah,
yeah. But even with arms like the size of mine, Martin, don't think there'd be a lot of room to put a tattoo on it. To be honest with you, because I've not got big arms.
Foxy, you're fine. You're totally fine. Don't never compare yourself to anyone else because you are perfect as you are, and that is that.
Okay.
Never compare yourself to anyone else because you are.
No,
Foxy.
I wouldn't compare myself to anybody. I actually got into trouble with that.
What, comparing yourself?
Comparing other people's personalities. I've been in trouble for that.
Okay.
And you have to be careful because.
But let's not go there then. Let's not. Yeah.
You get hot and cold easily. Gosh, nutmeg. I only get cold easily, not hot easily. I'm such an arm
I'm
flasher.
I'm going to take my t-shirt off actually. On my jumper even. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, Graham, have you been out anywhere? You're not back in the house yet. Where have you been? Where have you been? He's obviously been out, but I don't know where.
Is anyone else coming on? Anyone else want to come on?
We're going to be finishing when we get to 1 hour 30. So there's only about, I suppose if anyone else does want to come on, but obviously Graham not yet because he's not in the house yet. So it wouldn't be a good idea for Graham. But in and out. Oh, okay. Thank you, Graham. But obviously it wouldn't be a good time for Graham at the moment because he's not in the house yet. But anybody else who'd like to come on, the link's just down there. But it's only going to be for about another 10 minutes.
How did it go last night with the live, Foxy?
The late night live?
Yeah.
It went well, but I didn't beat the record.
What's the record?
I was trying to do 5 hours, but I only did 4 hours.
That's still quite a feat.
I know. But I'm determined to get to 5-6 hours late night live because of the late night live I watched. And since I watched that late night live from a couple, Danette and Anthony, who I've now followed sporadically since first encountering them, they just came unrecommended, just out of nowhere, were recommended on my recommended page. And then I just clicked their live and they were doing a late night. It was late night New York time, and so it was early morning here. I just watched it, and after I watched it, I'm like, I want to give myself a go at that. I want to do late night live. I'm going to give this a go. So I did give it a go, and I'm like, this is definitely going to work for the future because of how well received it was.
That's how things. That's how great things happen, like through a bit called serendipity. But serendipity is like a happy mistake, something that you wouldn't realise generally.
Yes.
But you find serendipity about watching someone else do something and then like applying that to yourself, which is a fantastic thing. And I hope you break all records I think that's brilliant.
Their live, they were about about an hour and a half into the live at the time, but they finished the live after they did 5 hours. And I've not done a 5-hour late night live as of yet, but I'm going to do that. And I'm determined to beat the record. I'm going to beat the record.
Jordan's alive!
Yes, Jordan's alive! Jordan's alive! Jordan's alive!
Jordan's alive!
You broke the record! You broke the record! You broke the record! Well done! Well done, you broke the record! Marvelous!
Foxy, I love you. I love you. I love you so much. I love you so much.
That's a Brian Blessed notable work. That's his Star Wars character when he did that.
I love you so much, Foxy. This is do you have any plans for us, like a timescale to achieve the 5-hour thing, or just when you think it's right?
I think for the next late night live, I'll try and do 5 hours. But the next late night live is not till the early hours of the UK, early hours of the 16th of September.
Okay. So what is it? It's the 10th day, is it?
10th, the latter part of the 10th of September.
So is that Monday? Is that Monday or?
Not always, Nutmeg. No. I have spoken generally a long time, but they don't always ache the muscles. I'm used to talking a lot because taking into account attending events, and it's several hours, you'd be spending several hours on and off talking to a lot of people who you never normally meet. But that's the best thing about the event attending. And I think the more times you do it, the more you get used to talking a lot and that sort of thing, Nutmeg and all that, when taking this thing into account. Brian Blessed and yes, Blacksmith, I completely agree with you. Brian Blessed is a true national treasure. Marcia, hello to my lovely Marcia, and hello to Sky the dog, Lily, and Wookie the cat, but not Wookie the... Danette and Anthony did it, so I don't see why I can't, Nutmeg. There we are, but I'm gonna determine myself to do it, What was it that Moogs said to Graham? What did Moogs say? Yes, same. We're all thinking of Graham too. No, Graham, we are all thinking of you, and we all stand beside you. Drink a few cans of Red Bull before you start streaming to keep. No, I don't drink Red Bull, Nigel. But alcohol, I would think about it for late night lives in the future. Alcohol, but I don't know. I really don't know yet. But Red Bull, I'm shelving that idea. But alcohol or a hot drink with a teaspoon or two of sugar in it, then I would think about that. But I wouldn't do it regularly because that wouldn't be good for the health. But there we are. Thank you, Marcia. Thank you for your friendliness towards Graham. Thank you. Thank you. You looked into my last live stream when you got in. You was worried as I'd slumped over to one side fast asleep. I thought that no, I had not fainted. I had not fainted, Nigel. Do be assured on that. Yes, it certainly is hello to Marcia indeed. I'm happy all is good for you at the moment, Graham. No, really, Graham. We stand beside you every step of the way since your saddening cancer diagnosis recently. But thank goodness you're taking the cottage cheese and the flaxseed oil to try and hopefully this will have a health effect and hopefully will have a good outcome for your health and the cancer ordeal. All of us are standing beside you every step of the way. And obviously, it's your choice, but I would say well done for ditching chemotherapy because I can see the chemotherapy didn't help when you took the flaxseed oil and the cottage cheese. So keep doing what you're doing, Graham, and we look forward to hearing your future outcome of it. Because at least you're not in agony, because I know you're not in agony, because the nurse expected you to be in agony at this point. But fingers crossed you're not in agony, and hopefully this will have a good effect. Thank you. Thank you, Hailey. Yes, hoping so too. Keeping our fingers crossed and standing beside you every step of the way, Graham. Every bit and every step of the way, holding fingers crossed and hoping for the best for your health outcome. QA. Yes.
I apologise. I'm not too sure about Graham's situation, so I apologise for that. But I wish him well though, and
cancer is devastating. Cancer
Right,
as well
okay.
is really awful
Yeah.
and devastating. People can die of cancer.
Yeah. I wish Graham, see that everything well.
Yes, completely right, Marcia. 100% support for Graham too. Complete 100% support to him indeed. Nigel. Flaxseed oil online, Amazon. Flaxseed oil and cottage. I think, didn't you have cottage cheese to go with it, Graham? The flaxseed oil and so forth. Bullshit to chemo. It didn't help with him, did it, Nutmeg? The chemo really didn't help with Graham, but thank goodness he pulled through it. And fingers crossed he pulls through this ordeal. Just because he had cancer once, it certainly does not mean he will not beat it a second time.
Graham, I'm not up to date with what the situation is, but I wish you well and everything. And yeah, I don't know what to say, but yeah, of course, I wish you well.
I was extremely knocked over when I saw Graham's news from the 27th of August, which was 2 short weeks ago. But why it knocked me over so much was because it reminded me of what happened to my late grandfather when he had the thrombocythemia after he got diagnosed with it, because thrombocythemia, I think it's a type of blood cancer or condition where you have too many red blood cells and platelets, and there's no known cure for it at the moment, but you can take medication to stop it getting worse. So my grandfather, he took the medication, but the medication, it really didn't have a good effect on him. It just didn't help. The only thing the medication did with him was made him very tired, and really just made him really generally worse off, because he ended up losing a lot of weight after he had it. and just got
I'm
frailer
sorry
and
to
just
hear that,
a lot
Foxy.
worse off
I'm
when
so
we
sorry
had
to
it.
hear that.
Thank you, Martin. So when seeing the news Graham had shared regarding his second cancer return,
Well, I didn't know that, and I really, yeah, I
it
wish,
reminded me of
yeah,
what happened to my late grandfather. It reminded me of his thrombocythemia
yeah,
diagnosis. And as you could imagine, not only was I upset greatly, but my family and my grandmother, not to mention, was upset and distraught by it. But we were happy that the doctor gave the recommendation and things at
yeah.
first, because we didn't know it was going to have such a huge effect on him. But
Like you only you can only sort of follow the medical advice that's offered to you, can't you? Like,
that's true,
you
yeah.
know, and we're sort of in their hands, so to speak. And I guess it's they try to do the best, but it's just their opinion, I guess. Or nothing is 100%, is it?
Yes. Graham's completely right. Cancer strikes down people so randomly. Completely agreeing with you on that,
Yeah,
you know. But my Edmund,
yeah,
after his thrombocythemia diagnosis, he didn't even last 2 years. He only lasted 19 months after he had the diagnosis. And at the time of I could remember this was 6 months before he died, because as I remember, I went out with him about 6 months before he died. He could just about go out at this point, but it was that August. It was 2019. It was that August where I just I just knew, Martin, that he was not gonna survive many more years. I just knew he didn't have a long time ahead. And he'd lost a lot of weight at this point. He'd aged very visibly. And Martin, it was a very difficult thing to contemplate too, because he had deteriorated extremely rapidly, well, very, very quickly at this point following his diagnosis. And he was a wonderful grandfather, as I said before, and was a big part of mine
yeah,
and my family's life. And we didn't really think that something so fundamentally seriously wrong was going to happen if he would take the medication. But as it turned out, things really did go wrong. And as it turns out, because he was initially diagnosed as not terminally having it, but as it
yeah.
turns out, he did have it terminally. And we only just found out
I'm
after he
sorry,
died
Foxy.
that
Foxy, I'm so
thrombocythemia
sorry.
was his cause of death. Thanks, Martin.
Just
Thank you.
sorry. My father, my own father. Like, have we got time for this, or do you need to stop the stream, or if you've got time? I was going to talk about my father a little bit.
I mean,
Is
we
that
can't
okay,
go
or
anything beyond 1 hour 35. So do as quickly as you can, Martin.
what? Okay, no, I was just saying. So my father had he'd been diagnosed with prostate cancer,
Oh gosh,
um, and um,
gets a lot of
and he
men,
was
doesn't it?
and he was due to be seen for that. And then there's one time, like, I went round to mum and dad's house, and just walked around there, and my dad was hanging out the washing in the back garden, and my mum was like sort of doing washing up in the sink and stuff like that. When I went, oh, how's dad? She goes, oh, he's out in the back garden. And then I just walked out to the back garden, and he fell over in the back
Oh,
garden. But he fell over because, and this sounds really weird, but his leg, the bone in his thigh snapped. So,
oh,
so he was like, so he was lying there, but his feet were like this,
oh dear.
and so we called an ambulance, and the ambulance came, and they gave him, like, they saw what he's like when they saw him, and they gave him like loads of morphine and stuff like that. And I followed the ambulance to the hospital, and it turns out that he got to hospital, and it turns out his body was riddled with cancer, and he'd had cancer in the bone, cancer in the stomach, cancer in everywhere.
Oh, that's
Um, and 1 week later, pretty much in hospital, he died. Um, I'm thinking before, and this sounds really weird, but before that, so he could have known about that 2 years before and gone through chemo and stuff like that, and had but before, like the 2 years like before that happened, we had sort of good moments and memories and stuff. So it was a really, really quick sort of diagnosis to death with my dad. But
No.
but if it was 2 years before, and then he'd gone through stuff, I don't know. I'm not really making sense, and I understand that, and I'm sorry that I'm rambling a bit, but
They're only trying to explain the story.
yeah,
No, but it's a hard thing to contemplate too when relatives have those diagnoses. It really is. And that's the part
yeah,
of the problem is you don't know you've got something until it's really manifested and you're really in
yeah.
pain for it. My hunch
And then,
conclusion was my
then
husband.
after that, about 6 months after that, my mum my mum had a stroke, and then she died. So yeah,
So she died of a stroke.
she had a stroke, and she couldn't. After that, she couldn't. She had no ability to
Do
recall
things.
anything or use any part of her body in
So
motion,
it paralyzed her.
and she had to get fed through a tube and stuff.
So she was
So yeah,
paralyzed.
I had a difficult couple of years back then.
I'm so sorry, Martin.
No,
So
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it's just yeah,
my hunch conclusion was my Edmund was really had thrombocythemia about a year before he was diagnosed. But as Graham would say, which is part of the problem, you don't. Sometimes you can be walking around with anything and not know that you've got it.
yeah, yeah.
Yes. But we've
And I
nearly
really
got.
think that was the case with my parents. I think like
Yeah,
and maybe like like looking at it philosophically,
yeah,
my dad had better time not knowing about it, and then
yeah.
like having 2 weeks of horrible times after that,
Hospital.
or he could have had 3 or 4 years knowing about it and then going through chemo and stuff. And I
Yeah.
don't know. It's
I think
yeah,
had my Edmund been diagnosed with thrombocythemia earlier, but even though he wasn't in good health even at that point because of bad heart attack, and bad
yeah.
esophagus, I think if he was treated earlier, I don't think he would have deteriorated as quickly. But again, looking at philosophically, he had a good share of not knowing about something until things really went wrong.
But the sad thing is though, Foxy, like and this is a shocking sort of diagnosis. 1 in 2 people will get cancer.
Yeah, sadly.
So 50% of people will get cancer. So if you're a couple, uh, the odds are that at least one of you will get. I'm sorry. I'm keep it light, Mark. Come on, but I'm not. I'm sorry to bring it down, but
Don't worry,
it's
Martin.
horrible, isn't it?
Yeah. But you explained your story, and that's the main thing. At least you were able to talk about it, all of us, and we all sympathise with you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for bringing it down, Foxy.
No, don't worry.
That's
You
not what I
said what
want.
you needed to say, and we sympathise with you. I totally sympathise with you. But we have got to finish things up now, Martin. But it
Yeah.
was wonderful having you on here. But please don't worry about a thing. Don't worry. We all sympathise with what happened to your late
Yeah.
parents.
Thank you, Foxy,
Pleasure.
and thanks for everything that I'm like I extend my condolences with Edmund as well. So
Thank you.
no, yeah,
Thank you. I will pass them on to my grandmother, your condolences,
yeah.
next time I talk to her. Ta-ta for now, Martin, and we're next live on the Saturday.
Thank you.
Ta-ta for now. So sorry. Martin was okay, but don't worry. So sorry, Deborah. I'm extremely sorry. But thank you for your sympathy to those who fall victim to cancer. Thank you, Deborah. Get a move on. Sleepgate. I won't be sleeping. I'm fine. People have successfully battled terminal cancer with alternative treatment. Unfortunately, their stories are kept quiet. This is too true not to make. Completely true. Completely true. Yeah. Yeah. I know, Marcia, it really it is. I'm extremely sorry, Graham. I'm extremely sorry. Yes, and I'm extremely sorry about what happened to your parents. I'm extremely sorry about this. No, Graham, I am sorry that we brought this up. We are sorry we brought it up. I am so sorry. No, really, I am extremely sorry that I brought it up. No, really, by and large, extremely sorry. You missed it. It was only about 5 minutes it happened until Martin said there was no need to show it. But Sleepgate, that happened on the Late Night Live, but it's not happened tonight. And I'm determined that Sleepgate will not bloody happen on the next Late Night Live. I am bloody determining myself to not show Sleepgate or get involved in a Sleepgate scandal next live. I bloody will not try and do it again. But Sleepgate, it bloody happened recently, didn't it? And it is bloody well known. Excuse the naughtiness, but there we are. Or one could be six. A bloody death. That's all. Oh, stupidity. But I am sorry about the Sleepgate. Hopefully come next Late Night Live, which will be the early hours of the UK 16th September 2024 UK hours of that day, from 12:15, just midnight. That's the next Late Night Live, because the future fate of the Late Night Lives are going to be once or twice a week. But this one, I'm only done it once this week, and next week I may do it twice, but I'm probably going to do it once, but possibly twice. Oh, don't worry, Tom. Don't worry. If you watch the replay, you'll see what happened. I know. I'm extremely sorry about it. It was far too absurd, wasn't it? It was totally absurd. I know. It was 4 hours. Yes, I'm going to try and do 5 or 6 hour Late Night Lives. Hopefully next one, if I succeed. Yes. Yes. But it's really time to finish now because I'm really well past 1 hour, 30 minutes. I really need to... I really need to finish the live now. Oh, gosh, absolutely boring. A, B. You're not trying to knock us over, are you? But I'm sorry if things did get boring. My apologies. Oh, you are crude. You are very crude, Harriet. You're so crude, but very funny at the same time. Right, it's time to finish things off, everybody, because we're 5-10 minutes over the time I was expected to finish at. Time to finish things off. Good night, and may your God go with you. Take care, everybody. Take care and stay safe, everybody, as Trevor Colt would so cautiously advise. Goodbye, and may your good wishes be bringing you great expectations of happiness. Goodbye, all.